Namaskaram. The English word thought means to conceive in the mind or to consider. Thoughts and thinking refer to the cognitive process that can happen independently of sensory stimulation. These thoughts can be broadly mapped to the mental process of judgment, reasoning, problem solving, memory, and imagination. The science of psychology basically study the thought as a form of information processing, the role of subconscious minds on these thoughts, and how they affect the everyday human life and behaviors. So, how the human brain builds new thoughts?
Brain is constantly receiving signals, whether from the outside environment in terms of perceptions or memories from the past. It then activates different patterns through waves in the brain through billions of synapses. The patterns consist of many variables of who, what, when, how, which is formed due to previous perceptions. Human cognition and thought formation is conscious or unconscious, concrete or abstract, as well as intuitive or conceptual. What makes human thinking so powerful is that we can formulate an effectively infinite number of thoughts. Humans can engage in complicated behaviors that for any other creature on earth would require an enormous amount of training.
The infinite nature of these thoughts are explored in detail in the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, where these thoughts are referred to as Chitta Vrittis. In our previous video, we learned about the nature of the Chitta. In this video, we will learn about Chitta Vrittis. Vritti means vortex or a circular activity with no beginning and no end. It is like a whirlpool. If not controlled, it can suck the life energy of a person involved in feeding these vrittis. So why are these vrittis compared to a circular activity? Chitta is essentially a product of Prakriti, which is physical in nature. Anything physical in nature is also cyclical. Example, the electron in an atom going round the nucleus and the earth going round the sun. So these vrittis are cyclical in nature and there are of 5 types. Pramana is a cognitive thought or judgment which is based on 3 types of information gathering, perception, inference and verbal testimony. Viparyaya, which means misjudgment, it is false knowledge which is rooted in the misidentification of truth. Vikalpa means imagination. It is a result of knowing something at the surface without a complete picture. Nidra is sleep. It is a cyclical activity of rest which is supported by a state of non-being. Smriti or memory is retaining old experiences without letting them pass.
The 5 vrittis are cyclical in nature because no matter what the content of these vrittis or thoughts are, the same thought patterns keep repeating themselves in the mind. The 5 vrittis are similar to the mental processes which has been described by the science of psychology which we saw earlier in this video. If you are wondering why Nidra is a chitta vritti or a thought pattern, hold on. So now we looked into the thought patterns as per ancient Yoga Sutras. Let's look into what modern psychology says about the activities of the mind.
As per modern psychology, the human mind can be broadly classified into 3 levels as follows. Conscious mind, which defines all the thoughts and actions within our awareness. For example, the thoughts that occur during normal waking hours. Subconscious mind, it defines all the reactions and automatic actions we can become aware of if we think about them. Unconscious mind defines all past events and memories. These 3 levels of the mind essentially form one's personality, which is due to various factors such as genetics, lifestyle, society, culture, environment, and life situations. The above factors is basically reflected in a person's mental strength.
Chitta vrittis are thoughts in a conscious mind or the mind during the waking up time. These thoughts are not just created by sense perceptions or memory or imagination, but they are also due to subconscious and unconscious mind. The subconscious and unconscious activities of the mind are due to the stored perceptions, past memories, which forms the personality of an individual. The entire mind complex is known as Chitta. The subconscious and unconscious activities are considered as Chitta Bhumis in yoga philosophy. So here, why is Nidra or sleep considered a vritti or a thought pattern? Nidra or sleep is a conscious activity and the person consciously decides when to go to sleep and when to wake up. Although it is a state of non-being, it is decided consciously and it is cyclical in nature. That is, it repeats itself every day and without rest, the mind cannot function.
Yoga Sutra explains the subconscious and unconscious minds as Chitta Bhumi, which is explained in the commentary of Vyasa known as Vyasa Bhashya. Maharishi Vyasa explains when the mind is directed towards an object, it can manifest in 5 different degrees of focus, known as bhumis. They are restless mind, distracted mind, confused mind, concentrated mind, and restrained mind. The differences in the levels of focus are due to the predominance of different gunas. But concentration is an essential quality of the chitta. The gunas come into action because they are inherent in Prakriti. They are sattva, rajas, and tamas. The 3 gunas combine in various permutation combinations in all the matter of the universe.
These gunas can be better understood with the example of 3 primary colors of red, blue, and green,
which are used to create infinite hues by simply changing the proportions of red, blue, and green. So essentially, the mind is possessed of the 3 qualities: the nature of illumination, sattva, activity, rajas, and inertia, tamas. Sattva, when manifested in the chitta, is typically characterized by lucidity, tranquility, wisdom, discrimination, detachment, happiness, and peacefulness. Rajas is characterized by energy, power, restlessness, and all forms of movement and creative activity. Tamas is characterized by ignorance, delusion, disinterest, lethargy, sleep, and disinclination.
So the gunas which are present in all matter of the universe lead to the different bhumis of the mind. For example, if a person is very energetic and action oriented, then the guna rajas is dominant in that person. If a person is very disinterested and not motivated, then the guna tamas is dominant. If a person is having a compassionate nature, then the guna sattva is dominant in him or her. So the gunas and past tendencies give rise to chitta bhumis.
The 5 chitta bhumis are as follows: Kshipta, restless mind; Mula, lethargic mind; Vikshipta, occasionally steady, occasionally restless mind; Ekagra, one-pointed mind; and Niruddha, fully focused and restrained mind. So what are these chitta bhumis? How to identify them? Is there a way to overcome restless mind and lethargic mind? We will explore these concepts in our next video. Thanks for watching. If you like this content, kindly like and subscribe to my channel. Also, you can now support on patreon.com if you wish to support the making of more such videos. Samatvam Simplified. Find your balance with yoga and ancient wisdom. Namaskaram.